Hello everyone. Today we are going to be making a 7-layer chocolate cheesecake with 7 different layers of various chocolate ingredients. At the very bottom we have a chocolate graham cracker-like crust, but you can use any kind of chocolate cookies that you want to. The layer above that we're going to have a dark chocolate cheesecake layer, followed by a dark chocolate layer, then a milk chocolate cheesecake layer, followed by a milk chocolate layer. After that, we're going to have a white chocolate cheesecake layer and then a white chocolate ganache on top of that. This will give it a nice hard shell around this yummy, absolutely amazing cheesecake that you will be able to make at home by following this simple instruction. This recipe is in part inspired by Alton Brown's cheesecake recipe, as well as part that I found online. So the very first thing we're going to have to do is we are going to take our cheesecake pan, which I have a springform pan here. You can use a one-piece pan if that's what you have available to you. This is what I have on hand here in my current dwelling, but you can use whatever pan that you prefer. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare this pan so we can actually then put the cheesecake inside of it a little bit later on. So I'm going to coat it with butter. And then after I coat it with butter, I'm going to put parchment paper on both the bottom and the sides. This will allow us to be able to get this cheesecake out of it really easily after we complete it.
First, we brush the inside of the pan with butter. Next, we are going to cover the bottom and sides of the pan with parchment paper. First, we cut a square piece of parchment paper the size of the bottom. We will fold this piece and cut it to shape it to the pan. Taking the square, first we fold corner to corner. Then we fold to make the 2 corners farthest away from each other touch. Next, we fold down the middle. Finally, we fold the shorter edge to the longer edge. Then we put the tip of the folded paper in the center and cut the paper at the edge of the pan. Now we unfold the parchment paper and put it in the bottom of the pan. Now we cut out a strip of parchment paper as long and high as the pan's edge and put it around the pan. Now we're going to make the cheesecake crust. Now we crush 10 ounces of chocolate cookies or 17 sheets of chocolate graham crackers in a ziplock bag. We crush them pretty fine, but have some larger chunks as well. Next, we add the crust to 1 stick of unsalted butter and mix it together. Then we dump the crust into the pan and spread it around. Starting from the center, use a cup to apply pressure to push the crust down and a little up the sides. Put the crust in the oven at 300 degrees for 10 minutes, then let it cool for at least 20 minutes. Now we're going to make the cheesecake filling. Put 1 cup of sour cream into a large mixing bowl. Next, we mix the sour cream by itself to cover the mixing bowl to help the ingredients not stick. Add 3 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese and mix them together. If the cream cheese is room temperature, it is easier to mix. Next, we add a half cup of sugar and mix it all together. I beat the mixture until it's easy to mix. Now we add the first egg and mix it in. I mix the egg in very carefully so it won't splatter outside of the bowl. Next, we add the second egg to the cheesecake mix, being careful not to splatter as we mix it in. After you've mixed the egg in for a while, you're going to want to stop and scrape the sides of your bowl down with a spatula, and then continue mixing it. We use a spatula so we can mix in all the parts of the batter that got stuck along the edges and need to get mixed in. Now we add the third and final egg and mix it all together. Now we add 1½ teaspoons of vanilla extract and mix it into the batter. Now that all the ingredients are in this portion of the batter, I scrape the sides of the bowl down and mix it again. Now we're going to use the batter we just made to make 3 different layers of chocolate cheesecake. The first thing we're going to do is pour 1/3 of the batter into a smaller mixing bowl. Now we're going to add chocolate to this portion of the batter. Melt 4 ounces of dark or bittersweet chocolate and pour it into the smaller bowl. Then stir it together. I mix with a spatula so I can scrape the sides of the bowl while I'm stirring. After the chocolate is fully stirred in, we pour it onto the cheesecake crust. Then we spread the cheesecake batter evenly around the crust. You can try jiggling and twisting the cheesecake to help spread the batter out. Dump the rest of the bag of dark chocolate chips into a Ziploc bag. Add 1 teaspoon of flour to it, then seal it and shake it to coat the chocolate chips in the flour. Next, dump the chocolate chips onto the cheesecake. Then spread the chocolate chips around. Now we are going to make the milk chocolate cheesecake layer. First, pour half of the remaining cheesecake batter into the smaller mixing bowl. Melt 4 ounces of milk chocolate chips and pour it into the smaller mixing bowl. Stir the chocolate into the cheesecake batter, ensuring you are scraping the edges while you stir. Now we pour the milk chocolate cheesecake batter onto the cheesecake. We spread it around as before, jiggling and twisting to help even out the batter. Add the rest of the milk chocolate chips to the Ziploc bag with the flour. Seal and shake the bag to coat the chips with flour. Next, pour the chips onto the cheesecake and spread them out evenly. Next, we will make the white chocolate cheesecake layer. Melt 4 ounces of white chocolate chips and pour the melted chocolate into the large bowl. Stir the white chocolate into the cheesecake batter. Remember to scrape down the sides of the bowl as you are stirring in the white chocolate. Then pour the white chocolate cheesecake layer onto the cheesecake. Then spread the batter to even it out. Gently twist and jiggle the cheesecake to help even out the batter.
Now that we've finished putting our cheesecake together, we have to bake it. So we're going to bake it at 270 for an hour and 15 minutes.
After baking, turn the oven off and open the oven door for 5 minutes to let the oven cool. Then close the oven and leave the cheesecake in the oven for 1 more hour. Then take the cheesecake out and put it in the refrigerator overnight. Next day, take the cheesecake out of the refrigerator. If you are using a spring-form pan, remove the side of the pan and the side parchment paper. Place a large plate on top of the cheesecake. To flip the cheesecake, place one hand firmly on the bottom and the other hand firmly on the top. Then quickly flip the cheesecake over. Now remove the pan and any remaining parchment paper. Next, put the serving plate on top of the cheesecake. As before, flip the cheesecake over with one hand on the top and the other hand on the bottom. Now remove the top plate from the cheesecake. Now we are going to make the last layer of the cheesecake, the creamy white chocolate layer. Pour 1/2 cup of heavy cream into a saucepan and heat it up. Then melt the rest of the white chocolate chips. Then pour the heated heavy cream on top of the melted white chocolate. Stir the white chocolate with the cream. It may take a few minutes to mix them together. Then pour the white chocolate cream over the cheesecake and put the cheesecake in the refrigerator for at least 3 hours.
After putting the white chocolate ganache on top and letting it cool for 3 hours, this cheesecake is now complete and it looks really good. You can distinctly see each of the 7 layers, and I'm going to be sharing it tonight with a gathering of some friends, and I'm sure they will greatly enjoy it. So I'm back now after sharing my cheesecake with my friends, and they thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm sure you will too. Thanks for watching this, and I hope you enjoy this cheesecake if you make it, or if you didn't, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you.